Welcome into Bama Central's Just a Minute with Austin Hannon. I'm Katie Wyndham in Austin. Alabama football has played a game. We've seen the team on the field. Some of our questions got answered, but the biggest question coming into the season is who would be the quarterback. Obviously, Jalen Milroe got the starting nod, but one thing Nick Saban has said throughout fall camp over and over is that whoever's the starter week one does not mean they'll be the starter the rest of the season. But Jalen Milroe had a good performance on Saturday against Middle Tennessee. And we did not see the other quarterbacks until pretty late into the game. And so, Austin, do you think that this quarterback battle is over, or do you think it's continuing through the next couple games?
I'm glad we're doing this topic just because, this is kind of what I've been writing and doing everything about this last couple of days. And I was a little surprised. I said it in instant analysis after the game that the plan was a little different than I thought, which it wasn't for the negative reason. I mean, Jalen Milroe was great. We didn't really see, like you said, either of the other quarterbacks in, normal time of the game. They came in and kind of just did the backup stuff where you hand the ball off. They both got a rushing touchdown, which is great, but it wasn't really any kind of real football. But Jalen Milroe he was the reason for that. I mean, he was sensational on Saturday. And it was almost like they've been hiding, Nick Saban and everybody else has been hiding this all offseason, kind of maybe making this a bigger deal than it really was, kind of keeping under wraps that maybe Jalen Milroe was good this good all along. They put him out there as the starter on Saturday. And from what it looked like, he had been the starter for a while. He played for the majority of the game. He played until it was 42-0. I mean, he looked great, and he looked like, he could be the guy to be the next quarterback at this great program. And, I think I wrote a story after thinking about this too, though. We need to push the brakes a little bit. While it was great, there's still work to be done, and Saturday is going to be a huge game. And I think that depending on how Saturday goes, we're going to have a really big scope of what the season's going to look like, both for Jalen Milroe and the rest of the team. So if he could do what he did on Saturday, or obviously I don't expect 5 touchdowns and a 49-point victory, but if he can, look the way he did, make the good decisions and make good plays with his feet, I don't see why this quarterback decision wouldn't be over by Saturday, especially if Alabama wins. And good for Jalen Milroe. I mean, he's waited his turn behind Bryce Young. He's got the right attitude, and he's been, negatively talked about, and that includes myself. I was a little bit wrong maybe about Jalen Milroe, and I'm glad to be being proved wrong by him because he deserves it. And I think it's going to be really important for him, though, to see how he plays Saturday. And, if he plays well, I think Alabama might have a good chance of doing some big things this year. So credit to Jalen Milroe, but Saturday's the big test for him, Katie.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you said that this may have been overblown a little bit all offseason by the messaging we got from Alabama, at least, that it was some sort of competition. Because to me, there's two things, even though it's kind of contrary to what Saban said about the first game starter doesn't mean they're the starter, but there's two things that signify to me that this battle is over. First of all, that Ty Simpson went in third, because it kind of was assumed that it was between Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson. That was never said, but that was the assumption because those are the two guys who have been in the program the longest, and you bring in Tyler Buchner as kind of a backup in case anything goes wrong from Notre Dame, a guy who knows Tommy Rees's offense maybe a little bit better. And so the fact that Tyler Buchner, it looks like, may have passed him shows that Jalen Milroe was probably far ahead of those two, at least in the coach's eyes. And then for me, the fact that they brought Jalen Milroe in to speak to the media on Monday of Texas week, I don't think you're going to bring in a backup quarterback to speak to the media. And so to me, that kind of signifies that they're putting their confidence in him, that he's the guy that has the job, which is probably a good thing for Alabama, that you're going ahead and putting all your confidence behind a guy before a big game like Texas, because you don't want someone back there that feels like, the rug's about to be snatched out from under them if they make a mistake, which Alabama played pretty mistake-free on Saturday in the grand scheme of things as far as turnovers, which will be important against Texas. But those are some reasons why I think this quarterback battle might actually be over. But if it is true what Nick Saban said, that we will still have to see what happens this Saturday and maybe in the next couple on Alabama's schedule as well. But that'll wrap up today's Just a Minute with Austin. I'm Katie. Thank you so much for watching.